Everybody ready to go? All right, Coach.
Thank you, Tony. After reviewing the film, much like I said after the game, a lot of good things to build on, but a lot of work to do. And you always like it that way. It's always much more pleasant to go to work after a victory, knowing there's a lot of things we can improve on. Once again, very pleased with many good things that went on. The biggest thing is the effort. I felt like our kids played extremely fast and aggressive, and I felt like they were in great shape. So you see early on, it's very easy to get cramps and to get winded and play at that type of game speed, very amped up. First time playing at home in a while in front of fans, and so it's easy to overexert yourself or to get winded a little bit, and I felt like we were in very good shape. Guys were very strong, could have played many more snaps, which was good, and they played very aggressive. So we made mistakes, but we made them going fast. A lot of things to improve on, and we're looking forward to getting to work this week. Coaches have been at it since yesterday morning, and players will be back this afternoon. We'll watch this film, get some things corrected, and can't wait to get started on Missouri. It's going to be a big game at home. We're looking forward to it. Looking forward to a packed house. We're going to need it. It's going to be a big challenge. They did an excellent job against us a year ago. We have a lot of things to improve on to play them to beat this team. And got a lot of respect for Coach Drinkwitz and what Eli does and the way he runs his program. Very good team, making a lot of improvement. And we're going to have to play a lot better here this week to beat them.
Coach, how pleased are you that you have such a large margin in the score that allows you to play a lot of the freshmen? How pleasing is that for you?
Yeah, it's always helpful. Get those guys reps and to work on, like I said, I don't mean this in any disrespect, but I mean, we're working on us. We have to get better in a lot of areas and working hard, and that's what's, fun for us to go out there and to perform well, to play guys. Sometimes the games have a tendency to get sloppy and leave a bad taste in your mouth if you're ahead by a bunch and put some other guys in and make some mistakes towards the end of the game and things of that nature. And we certainly had some plays to clean up, but overall I was pleased with the young guys, and you could see their talent, and you could see it was fun to play a lot of guys because they worked very hard.
Mark, after you had a chance to look at the film, what was there about Will that you didn't like? What are you working with him?
Well, I think the obvious things of just ball placement on certain throws, but that's always the case. Nobody's going to play perfect. You're going to strive for perfection, but that's pretty hard to do. So Will missed a couple throws. There was just a couple slightly in front, maybe a couple slightly behind. But the operation was good. A few things he could do better. Reading it, there's always things to improve on. But he did many good things. But accuracy and maybe a little bit of a touch are things that he's going to continue to work on, and he'll get better. I'm not at all concerned. I have a lot of confidence in him, and just game reps are going to help him improve in a lot of areas.
Last year, they were pretty physical. Missouri was with you guys. It seemed like it looked uncharacteristic almost. I know there were some extenuating circumstances, obviously, on your end, but from what you saw this week, do you think that you'll be able to take that?
No, I think your observations are very fair and very correct. I didn't like the way we were. They played more physical than us, a year ago, and that is uncharacteristic, and I don't particularly like that, and so we need to be much more physical this year.
Mark, did I understand you to say that the game wasn't perfect, but yet there was excellence? Yes.
Mm-hmm. There was excellent pieces. There was some very good pieces, but consistency is what we're looking for.
Mark, Missouri new defensive coordinator with Steve Wilkes, a guy who has NFL experience. What do you see from him with their defense?
Yeah, they're aggressive. They were heavy dose of man coverage in this first game, and very aggressive, and a bunch of guys at the line of scrimmage. So we're going to have to win some one-on-ones. That's for sure. We're going to have to play physical. and we're gonna have to win some one-on-one battles, but, very aggressive defense, very much, crowding the line of scrimmage, so we've gotta beat some man coverage.
Mark, you talked a little bit Saturday, but how encouraging was it to see Isaiah make those plays in the second half, given all the injuries that he's had to fight through
Yeah.
to get to this point?
No doubt. Very happy for Isaiah. Just the fact that he has persevered through some really tough times and really worked hard in a lot of rehab, and I'm sure for him some frustration along the way, and a credit to our doctors staying with it and finding reasons why it wasn't healing up, and getting his foot rectified, getting it fixed, and so I'm happy for him, and obviously he helps us, and that was a really nice play. I believe it was on the third down, and the fact that he was really running, and the fact that Will took that shot and saw it, and had the vision to see it, and the arm strength to get it out there in a cover 2 defense to the field, that's rare.
You guys had a lot of success in, obviously in play action on Saturday. Is that, and throwing the ball specifically? I know that seems like that part, for whatever reason, was missing the last couple of years. It's different personnel, but.
That's no big mystery. What's that? Can I call you Captain Obvious? Yeah, so, no disrespect. That was, no question. And one goes with the other, and it was aggravating. It's well documented. I really don't want to go back to it anymore. But when you could run the ball like we have to be able to hit the ball down the field.
Mark, talk about Bo's pass when he was facing.
Yeah, got hit.
And he got hit in the face and delivered the pass to Dingle.
Well, first thing is I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, but his best bud and roommate, owes him a pizza or something, because his boy whiffed and got him hit right in the face, and he hung in there and threw a great ball, and he knew he was going to get hit, and it was a great catch by Dingle, and it was fun to see those guys make that play.
Mark, how encouraging is it for you to see when you look at that tackles for loss? You saw all those different guys with tackles, I think, 14 of them in one game?
Yeah, that really, that's always a starting point with me, with both sides of the line of scrimmage. I've said that since day one. You've heard me say that 100 times in these press conferences. Actually 101 now, right? Yeah. But so, it's a line of scrimmage game, and we've got to continue to get better. But I really like the effort that they played with. We made some mistakes, and we made some penalties and some things that are very aggravating. But we made them going extremely fast and playing extremely hard. It was never for a lack of effort. That's one thing that was obvious when I put on that film. Was the effort, and our guys really trying to play aggressive and play fundamentally sound. And again, there's many mistakes, but there's a lot to build on. But we need to play with that mentality, and we certainly need to play with it this week, as it was just pointed out in here. This team was more physical than us a year ago, and we don't like to play that way.
Mark, you guys had held the upper hand over Missouri for quite a few games till that. It seemed like they were really motivated to kind of put that aside. Do you sense that this is kind of a good rivalry in both directions?
I sense that they were much more prepared to play last year than we were, and that's on me, and so I could promise you that's not going to happen again.
Mark, how did Deere Rosenthal look? How did you evaluate his play after you looked at the video?
He played better, more consistent. He strained more to what, playing to our expectations and his own, and he did some good things, and there's a lot to build on from there. Again, we're looking for the consistency in effort and physicality, and he showed that in the first game, and we want to continue to see that.
Mark, Liam said after the game that he was kind of pleasantly surprised at how calm you were on the sidelines. He said after that first series, he thought maybe you would go ballistic, but you didn't.
That's
this a new-
thanks to a perception that you guys put on. I don't ever do that.
So to follow up on that, this is not the new Mark Stoops. This is always the.
That's all. I mean, listen. Show me a coach in America that doesn't, at some point or another, listen. I pride myself on, and I coach my way through it. Believe me, it's been 9 years, and I have people that have told you times. Believe me, I talk to people. I need psychologists. I need people to help me, and be prepared for all situations. And I think over time, I don't think I've ever, I've prided myself on always keeping the composure and keeping things in control. Am I perfect? No. Maybe you are. I'm not. You know what I mean? But you always try to get better as well.
You talk about 9 years, and Eli Drinkowitz, he's going on his second year, and you know the challenges of being a second-year coach. You were coming off of a 2-10 season. Do you have any, maybe compassion is the wrong word, can you identify as coaches together, or is your goal just to put that out of your mind and send him packing?
Eli and I have built a friendship, and I like him, but he kicked our butt. He kicked our butt. I'm not going to forget. That's on my mind. He had his team more prepared than I was. So maybe he'll have some compassion for me.
Mark, you talked about consistency. Is this week of practice one of those where you find yourself saying giddy up as opposed to whoa more often than you would like?
Or the opposite, you
Or
mean,
the opposite,
you're
yes.
saying the opposite, probably. I want us excited about our preparation, but steady. Our team's at its best when we're very business-like, but having that sharp focus. Because you have to do this all year long. You have to be at the same level every day, all the time, no matter who you're playing.
Not too high, not too low.
Not too high, not too low, but sharp in your preparation. And, as I've said again 100 times, everybody wants to play on Saturday. How excited and motivated are people going to be on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Maybe it's hot out there. Maybe you're beat up. We're going to have physical practices. Or are they going to prepare through the week? And that's always the message and the challenge.
Mark, a little off subject, but is it true that Max Duffy almost ran over you at a Starbucks this year and wiped you out?
I got to listen to this podcast. I'm going to have a talk with Max. There's some things that are between he and I, and he's sharing to the world, but I think he's a bit of a storyteller, so I'm going to have a talk with him.
So it's not true?
I'm going to jump on his podcast and straighten him out.
Speaking of punting,
Yeah.
I don't know, I wasn't necessarily sure Wilson was gonna be out there, you mentioned back issues. What do you think, how did he?
Yeah, he's, we've got to get him back to where he can feel good during the week and everything. It's probably like a lot of sports when you're doing the same thing over and over again. He kind of just put a little pressure on parts of his back that we need to just get calmed down and get him comfortable where he can prepare like he normally would. It was probably just from the same repetition and just over kicking a little bit.
Mark, what are the challenges of defending Connor Bassett?
Yeah, Connor is a very good player. We know very well. I have great respect for him. He came in last year and just did a remarkable job. I thought he was extremely poised. He has that ability to create space when he needs to and keeping his eyes down the field and extending plays and he's one of those guys that are very good, that are aggravating to a defense. Does what he has to do, whether he has to scramble by time, move in the pocket, scramble for a first down, you name it, he'll do what he has to do. But very good player.
I know you guys recruited him. Has he turned out to be about what you thought?
No question. I mean, he's a very good player and very efficient. He's very good with this offense. They do a very good job. They're creative. A lot like us in some ways, where they use a lot of motion shifts, personnel groupings. They maybe use some trick plays to create big plays for them a little more than us, but they're also like us in their shots are max, protected. They get good protection when they're taking shots down the field, so you have to cover them. It's hard to get there. You know, there are a lot of big plays happen on first, second down, and picking their time to take shots and get the ball down the field. They're very efficient.
Watching the film, what did you think of Octavius?
Octavius did a really nice job. I thought he played faster than he had in the past. You could see he's worked hard in the off season. Really took to the coaching. He escaped and he played fast and he played with great energy, and I was excited about that.
Mark, how did your young linebackers play, and how did Jack Jones he played considering he'd been banged up in camp?
Yeah, he played good. He was banged up. He missed a little bit. You know, some of our linebackers were a bit out of position. We've got some things to correct with just all the different things we did. I don't want to use the word communicate, because then you guys will try to beat me over the head with that for a year. But you know, it's just it's normal stuff. You know what I mean? We do a lot of things, and so, you know, sometimes it's strong hook, sometimes it's weak hook, but you know what I mean, just in the changing of personnel and formations, just cleaning up, you know, cleaning up some things with some inexperienced linebackers, you know, so again, I'm confident that they'll all play well and we'll get them straightened out, and but we got some guys out of position that we got to get cleaned up.
Mark, what'd you think about the O-line play and the new run blocking scheme for the first time out?
You know, I felt like, you know, like a lot of years, I mean, there's a lot of good and there's a lot of things to build on, you know, and a lot to clean up, you know, so we always wish, you know, we can perform a touch better, you know, and it's like that, you know, finishing blocks, staying on guys longer. I'll tell you this, I liked the way we tried to be, you know, we were physical and tried to be physical. There were some yards out there that we left on the field, you know, with some cuts too, you know, that we gotta see better, you know, and you know, I'd like to believe it's because of the way we're running the ball right now. You know, our vision was better when everything was inside and downhill. It's a little different when we're teaching outside, and then there's certain plays where they gotta see it, and there was big runs backside. But that's a running back's job, you know what I mean? So they're you don't know where it's gonna hit on certain plays. And you know, obviously Chris is Chris. I mean, he makes people miss and runs hard and physical, and you know, very talented player. And you know, all of our backs are, but there's some yards we left on the field.
Mark, excuse me, sorry. It's early in the season, so is there anything about Missouri you know that surprises you or doesn't surprise you?
No, I mean, they're you know, what you would expect. I mean, they're good. They play hard. They're a well-coached football team, and you know, that's where it starts. You know, with guys in the right position and play the game the way it's supposed to be played, and play very physical, play hard, and do a good job. They keep you off balance. You know, they certainly did a year ago. They had a lot of drives a year ago that were, you know, they worked for them. I mean, and again, I hate to go back too much on that, but you know, they had 20 points, but it felt like 40 by the way they controlled the ball. You know, a lot of third and manageables, and then some fourths that they converted, and so just we got to do a better job.
Mark, how important is Corker in that defense, and what's the best words to describe him?
Yeah, it's a great point. Nobody, you know, a lot of people don't talk about Yusuf that much, and Yusuf is just one of those guys that just has so many plays under his belt. He's gotten so much better because of the work that he's put into it, and his coaches have done a nice job with him. And you know, he's just, you just have to love him. He's just one of those guys. You know, it's like a lot of guys you've heard me talk about. I hate to single out one because we have a lot of them, but you know, the one that jumps out is Jamin, that he just kind of just came to work every day. You know what I mean? Just every day tried to get better, and did his job, and you know, led himself, but obviously had influence on others. You know, when I was talking about leadership, you know, lead yourself first. Well, they're one of those guys that always seem to do the right thing every day, and then they have an influence over their position group, and then ultimately over the team. And Yusuf's a lot like that.
Will JJ be on snap count again Saturday, you think? And
What does it say about his progress rehab-wise, that he was able to go as long as he
Yeah,
did on Saturday?
very, very pleased with JJ, no setbacks, he felt good, he's getting confidence, and we'll see where we go from here, we'll see how the week goes.
Mark, how did Devontae Robinson play?
I was pleased with Devontae, he really kind of got back to where it was a couple years ago, and, with the injury, and really did a good job, and we needed him to, it was a key position for us, and he did some good things.
How'd you feel about Mike Drennan and what he was able to do out there?
Yeah.
What can he bring to that running back?
Another one, yeah, he could be one of those dynamic guys, he's got some top end, he's got some wiggle maybe, can make people miss in the open field. But Michael, it was nice to see him also get some tough yards, get the ball in the end zone, and becoming a complete back. I think it's gonna be a good switch for him and for us.
You kind of touched on it at the beginning, but just, it's been a while since you guys have played a night game here in front of your fans. Just how eager are you to get back in that atmosphere here at home again?
Well, it was great to get home last week and whatever time we play, but I appreciate the fans being there. It was warm, but it wasn't, at least it was decent, and I appreciate the people being there. It's gonna be a night game, so no excuses. We need that place packed, and looking forward to it.
There was, a lot made of Monroe, just as a level, like the level of quality team, coming in.
Pardon me?
Last year, going on 10, and what did you see though from Monroe? Like, did they look like a good football team?
Well, I think, Monroe, what I had a pretty good idea of going into it was that coach was going to have them fundamentally just trying to play the game the right way. Not much different than the situation I came into in year one. I went through, phases where you're trying to, you're trying to win, and so you're sometimes throwing things at the wall, but ultimately you have to just become a better football team fundamentally. And so that's what I saw. I saw a team that was well coached, that was just, trying to do things, the right way on all sides, and they were well coached, they were in position, but it also gives us a clean look, so that was good for us in that way. Certainly, with them being in year one, we, obviously had better personnel, but it gave us clean looks, and that was really good for us to work on ourselves. And that's what, I figured there'd be. I mean, that's, kind of what you have to do, when you're taking over a program like that, just fundamentally teaching those guys how to play the game. And you certainly saw a lot of plays in there where they did things very good.
Time for a couple more?
Mark, you talked balance all preseason, and you had 34 rushes, 33 passes. Is that something that you're physically tracking in your mind, or do you just let that go?
Funny story about that, we were in our staff meeting after that, and Liam told me that, and I said, really? It felt like 90% pass to me. It just goes to show you kind of where our mindset has been. You know what I mean? I mean that's a true story. I was like, wow. So no, we weren't trying to track that. On paper say, that's just the way he calls plays, and that's what we talked about. That's what you want to be, but to be exactly in play counts, run and pass 50-50, are we looking for that every week? At the end of the day, no. You're looking to win the game and do, and as Hayden Fry used to say, scratch where it itches.
Were you surprised at how fast you guys were able to move the offense? I mean, because going to the huddle and that kind of, were you surprised at how?
I wasn't surprised because I've seen that. You've heard me talk about procedure a lot. And, it was different for y'all to see a huddle, right? And us to break the huddle, get to the line of scrimmage, shift, motion, again, clean. We've been that way. The guys have worked hard. The coaches have worked hard, our players have worked hard. And that's good. I mean, from a defensive perspective, you're breaking the huddle, you're getting to the line of scrimmage fast, there's motions, there's shifts, it's hard to get locked in. When you're at the line of scrimmage, even those guys that try to go fast but watch it from there, the defensive guys, you see whether it's 2x2 or 3x1. and you see, you know, whether there's big, you know, you get a beat on it sometimes. Not to say that it's easy, because it's not, depending on the personnel. A lot of it comes down to personnel, but, anyway, you know, I like the procedure, and I like the way we're getting in and out of the huddle and running the offense. You know, we just gotta continue to build on it and get, you know, better. The one fumble, or, you know, the one snap issue we had, I was getting down there to call the timeout. I probably should've got, you know, was walking down to call it, and, but it was on first sound, and the minute Luke heard something, he snapped it. So things like that we'll continue to work on.
Mark, you often talked about the running game being important to help establish the passing game. The fans seem to be very pleased with the passing game. How excited are you to be able to give the fans what they want?
Well, I want to give the fans victories, you know, so, or you'll be talking to a new guy up here. So, I think that's the big thing, is still get victories, but I do also understand the importance of it. I mean, I like it too. It's a matter of what you can do, you know, what you can do well. And, I always, you know, I want to win, and I want to do what we can do good. You know, you would be talking to somebody else if I would just sit there and said, drop that pass, throw the ball, you know what I mean? And we just didn't get good at anything, you know what I mean? So we did things necessary to win games. Do I wish we would've won a few more or had a little more bounce? Of course. You know, I'm always striving to be the best we could be. And, you know, I think that's still the case, you know, whatever, by any means necessary. However, again, any team that's one-dimensional one way or the other does not present as many problems as the teams that can do both. You know, that's just fact.
So doing what you want to do and doing it well, again, if not doing it perfectly, doing it excellently.
I mean, you're not gonna get me to say that. That's your words.
Last one,
I'm not
Josh.
gonna say it. I mean, we have a lot of good things to build on. We're not excellent yet. We're striving for it.
This ain't really a football question. I'm just kind of curious. 20th anniversary, you know, September 11th coming up. What the day y'all play? Just what does that mean? You just reflected on that, and I mean,
Yeah.
for your players, it's maybe harder because a lot of them weren't around when that happened.
Yeah, that's a very good point, and I know exactly where I was. I was playing. We were getting ready to play. I was with the Hurricanes, and I was in my office, and one of the GAs or water control coaches at the time or whatever were in their office breaking down film and saw it happen, and we were in their defensive meeting and obviously went over to his office, all of us, and watched it, and then we saw the other plane hit, you know, as we were watching it, and obviously I think just the shock at that point in time, you know, shock and a lot of different reactions, sad, angry, disappointed, but I think after a short amount of time, we knew we weren't gonna play a football game that day, or that Saturday.
Okay, folks, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.